Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all the latest gaming news, and we got some interesting things to talk about today, including an intriguing acquisition. As we've seen in recent years, the game industry has been consolidating. A lot of developers are being acquired by bigger publishers. This includes Xbox, PlayStation, EA, Take-Two, Google, Amazon, and the list goes on and on. There's just a lot of publishers right now looking for talent, and surprisingly, a new studio might be up for grabs soon. The developer behind The Witcher 3 and CyberPunk 2077, CD Projekt, could end up getting bought out, so we're going to take a look at that here in just a bit. Also, we got another Pokemon leak to talk about. We've talked a lot about that this week, and more news has come out on that front, which has me personally very excited. So stick around for that, but first let's go over some of the quick news, starting off with a promising upcoming game, It Takes Two. So in a recent interview, Joseph Fares talked a lot about It Takes Two and some of his past games, and how he essentially created a new subgenre of video games. While you may recognize Joseph Fares from his passionate speech at the Game Awards a few years ago, he primarily focuses on narrative co-op adventure games. In fact, in his last game, A Way Out, it was absolutely necessary for you to play it cooperatively. Now, how they managed to make this work is that if you bought the game, you gift a copy to your friend in which you play together. That was actually very smart, but I found it interesting that he said that nobody believed the game would sell and that EA didn't even believe in it. Well, it was actually a great game, and apparently it was more than just a little bit successful. He's now confirmed that it sold 3.5 million copies worldwide, which is actually pretty insane for a small studio like that. He also pointed out that that means almost 7 million people has played A Way Out. The thing is, he's taking the success of A Way Out and he's working it into his next game, It Takes Two, and I really believe this game is going under the radar right now. I think this game looks excellent both in terms of its gameplay and with its story. It's got a different tone to it compared to A Way Out, but they are once again making a narrative co-op adventure game. I thought it looked incredibly charming myself. There was a lot going on in the trailer, and he does specifically say that It Takes Two is a much more polished product. So I just wanted to highlight this game today because I do think it's going to surprise some people when it releases later this year in March. If you liked A Way Out, this is definitely a game worth paying attention to. Next up, let's talk about the PS5. So a few months ago, somebody discovered it was rather easy to pop off the faceplate for the PS5 Dualsense controller. I don't think Sony necessarily intended it to be this way for any specific reason, but it was interesting to see how easy it is to take that front faceplate off. You don't need any tools or anything like that. It just pops off, so in theory, you could customize your controller. I mean, the PS5 itself also has swappable faceplates, and we're already seeing several third-party companies try to make custom faceplates. For that reason, I really like how Sony designed the PS5. It kind of reminds me of the old Xbox 360, but with the PS5, you can completely change how that thing looks. I do fully expect some really cool game-related designs in the future. Maybe an original PlayStation-themed PS5 or a special edition Spider-Man faceplate. That would be pretty cool if done right. I don't know if Sony will do that themselves, but third-party companies absolutely will, as already shown. Well, interestingly enough, a third-party company is now selling faceplates for the PS5 DualSense controller as well. So if you want to mix things up for your controller, a company by the name of Decor Evolve is selling numerous collars for just $10. These collars include orange, blue, red, gray, gold, purple, amongst several others. So if you want any of these, you can try it out yourself. I'm always a little cautious with buying things from third-party companies, but if you want to try it out, I'll leave a link in the description below. To me, the more interesting part about all of this is the fact that you can so easily customize both the controller and the console itself for the PS5. I like that aspect a lot, and I think we will see some interesting designs throughout the generation. Moving on, there's been a lot of talk about Xbox exclusives today. This is because Xbox put out a blog post highlighting some of their upcoming 2021 exclusive games. Now, it is important to note this is not the entire list of exclusives. They did say they have more to announce later this year, but this is an early glimpse as to what you can look forward to throughout the year if you play on an Xbox console. So let's take a look at this. They have 30 different games on this list, though a few of these are questionable. They have the Yakuza Collection listed, which is available on the PS4 already, and they also listed Psychonauts 2. Technically, that is a next-generation exclusive as it's only available on the Xbox Series, but it's also available on last-generation consoles such as the PS4. So I just want to take note of those two games. It is a little misleading to put those games on this list, but other than that, there's some good games to look forward to here. Obviously, you have Halo Infinite, which will be their flagship title for 2021. You also have Flight Simulator, Crossfire X, The Gunk, Scorn, and The Medium. I think all 5 of these games have a lot of potential, and of course Flight Sim has already proven to be an amazing game. That released last year on a PC, and it was a Game of the Year candidate on several websites. For me though, I think The Medium is the one that I'm most looking forward to. That comes out on January 28th, so it's just a few weeks away, and I'm super excited to play this game. It's got an old school Resident Evil vibe, or Silent Hills if you like those games, and again, I'm hyped up to play The Medium. Luckily, it's coming to Xbox Game Pass, so check that game out. Now, there's also plenty of intriguing indie games here as well. RPG Time, Sable, Echo Generation, 12 Minutes, and Tunic are all set to release this year. Yeah, Tunic might finally release in 2021. That was revealed years ago for the Xbox One, but it looks like it finally might arrive in 2021, or at least based off this list. I don't want to say it's confirmed just yet, but hopefully it is. Nonetheless, I think there's a lot to look forward to with this early glimpse of Xbox exclusives. It oddly doesn't have Stalker 2 listed, but that's another one to look forward to. However, let me know what games you're looking forward to the most in 2021. Now, this next topic was a big surprise to me. There's been a lot of acquisition talk in recent years, and in fact, in yesterday's episode of News Dose, we talked about an Xbox acquisition. Microsoft insider Brad Sams is teasing that Xbox is bidding on a studio or game-related IP. I'm not sure on what studio or IP, but this has been an ongoing trend across the game industry. Of course, Xbox isn't the only publisher looking to acquire studios, though. PlayStation has expressed interest, Take-Two and EA just went through a bidding war for Codemasters, and then THQ Nordic seems to acquire a new studio on a bi-monthly basis. Even Nintendo grabbed Next Level Games just 1 week ago, and that's very rare to see Nintendo pick up a studio. You also have newcomers like Amazon, Google, and Facebook, which poses a major threat financially. These are mega corporations with a lot of money, so you could see some big acquisitions from those 3 as well in the future. It's just the entire industry is looking for more talent, and a surprise name popped up today. Yeah, according to a market research firm, DFC Intelligence, CD Projekt could end up being an acquisition candidate after their troubled CyberPunk 2077 launch. DFC points out their reputation is now tarnished, and a lot of the troubles they went through could have been avoided with better publishing expertise that a larger company could have offered. DFC actually specifically mentioned Microsoft being linked to CD Projekt in the past, but they believe after acquiring Bethesda that Microsoft will not look to acquire another studio as large as CD Projekt for the time being. This would, after all, be a very expensive acquisition, and DFC believes they will not rush out to do this after picking up ZeniMax. That doesn't necessarily mean Microsoft won't try, as they have a ton of money, but DFC does not believe they will. They, however, believe other publishers will look into making a high-risk, high-reward acquisition. A lot of the risk is because their stock has absolutely plummeted due to the shaky launch of CyberPunk 2077. But in the long term, I do not view CD Projekt as a high-risk acquisition. Maybe in the short term, but as DFC mentioned themselves, a lot of the troubles they went through could have been avoided with better publishing expertise. They just need better management, and clearly CD Projekt Red is insanely talented and debatably one of the most talented studios right now. They also have rich IP like The Witcher. The Witcher 3 is among the best RPGs ever made with a big fan base, and even though Cyberpunk is a buggy mess, it's also a really good game and will likely sell more than 20 million copies lifetime. When they do fix all of its problems, that should shine through. So I do believe the long-term investment for CD Projekt would far outweigh their immediate problems. Like I said, they just need better management. Now, I guess customers will be a little bit more cautious with buying future games from them, but if their next game is, let's say, The Witcher 4, I think fans will just rush out and buy that no matter what. The question, though, is who can acquire CD Projekt? If this does actually happen, that will be interesting to follow. Could a platform holder like Xbox or PlayStation target CD Projekt? DFC doesn't believe Microsoft will, but they could be a strong candidate, as we have seen they have been rather aggressive with acquisitions in recent years. Then you also have Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, and Take-Two. Electronic Arts is a big company and could make an attempt. I think for me personally, as long as it's not Amazon, Google, or Facebook, then I'm okay. Really, they just don't have enough experience with games for me to trust them. Now, with that said, this whole topic might not even happen, so, this isn't like confirmation or anything, but DFC does believe that this could happen in the future. However, it's an interesting topic in looking at the possibility of this happening, so let me know your thoughts on a CD Projekt acquisition. Let's talk about Nintendo though, because we got yet another Pokemon leak to talk about. Yeah, we've been talking about Pokemon a lot this week, and that should be expected throughout the year of 2021. After all, this is the 25th anniversary for Pokemon, and they likely have some big plans. And one of those might be a Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake. Insider Kelios a few months ago said that a Diamond and Pearl remake was set to release in 2021, and now Centro Pokemon is quote-unquote confirming that is true. Now, confirming is a pretty strong word, but that is what they said. As always though, this is not directly coming from Nintendo or the Pokemon Company, and until it does, you should take this news with a grain of salt. With that said, Centro Pokemon claims that their sources, which are close to the Pokemon Company, says that a Diamond and Pearl remake will be revealed in February. As I've mentioned a few times this week, that does make sense. Next month on February 27th is Pokemon Day, and that would be a big reveal that they could celebrate Pokemon 25th anniversary with. And interestingly enough, a Diamond and Pearl domain was enabled as well. This means that Nintendo very well could be preparing to officially open up this domain when it's revealed soon. As of right now, you can't actually visit this website. Now, there still are some questions. I think the biggest concern for most people is that this will be a Let's Go type remake instead of being a more traditional style Pokemon. Let's Go isn't a bad game per se, but it's also not as in-depth as the mainline series. So a Let's Go type experience could be a major letdown for a lot of people, but luckily recent leaks point towards this being a traditional style game. With that said, it's also probably going to look similar to Sword and Shield visually. You have to remember that Sword and Shield is not even 2 years old yet. So if this is a traditional Pokemon game, it's very possible that this will look similar to Sword and Shield. I'm okay with that personally, but I know some fans want a complete visual overhaul with the Pokemon series. I just don't think this would be the entry to do so. Maybe in the future we'll get a mainline Pokemon game that looks more similar to New Pokemon Snap. Now that game looks stunning. Until then though, I'm really hoping this leak is true. I love the Pokemon franchise and I would greatly enjoy going back to Diamond and Pearl. And speaking of Nintendo, I have one last topic I want to go over just real quick. There's a big New Year sale over on the Nintendo eShop. It's kind of strange they didn't do this early in 2021, but there are a lot of good games that you can pick up digitally for a reduced price. Nintendo doesn't usually discount their own first-party games, but you can pick up Captain Toad, Yoshi's Crafted World, Super Mario Maker 2, and Kirby All-Stars Allies for 30% off. That's a pretty good deal for these games, and plus there's a lot of third-party games here as well. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is on here, Bloodstained, Okami, and just a lot of great games. So if you're looking to buy some Switch games, right now is a great time to pick some games up. You'll have until January 21st to pick these games up for a reduced price. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.